Hello, it's me, Steady Eddie from the YouTube, back with more terrible green screen. I don't know why I persist with the green screen, it looks awful, but I feel like it's just kind of funny. It also means I can flick my head around the screen like I'm doing right now, and I think that has some level of, maybe you pay more attention that way, because my head's moving around. I don't know. It feels psychological. YouTube is psychological warfare. And today we are talking about YouTube. ESO YouTube specifically. Elder Scrolls Online YouTube. What's happened? What's happening? Seems a lot of creators are trying to move away at the moment, doing different things. A lot of creators seem fed up with the game. So I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to first debunk some of the myths that surround Elder Scrolls Online YouTube. I'm going to talk about what it's like to do Elder Scrolls Online YouTube. Then I'm going to talk about why lots of people are moving away. And then afterwards, at the end, I'm probably going to talk a little bit about my personal opinions on the game and the kind of state that it's in right now. The most epic thing you could do right now is like and subscribe. However, I'll also ask at the end, after you've watched the video, and then you can say, oh, I liked him, or I didn't like him. I will or I will not like and subscribe. So anyway, let's get into it. So some of the myths with ESO YouTube. The first thing that I see a lot is people saying you can't go full-time on ESO YouTube. You can. There are several people that are full-time on ESO YouTube. There are several people that have been full-time in the past, and I'm sure there'll be people in the future who go full-time on ESO content creation, not just YouTube, but Twitch as well. Not saying you'll be rich, not saying you'll be minted, not saying it's a sustainable business endeavor. However, it's possible, it's a thing, and there are a lot of people that do it. But this brings me on to the problems that I have with ESO YouTube, which is that you can only really be successful with ESO if you do builds and guides. And I find doing builds and guides really fucking boring. They're just not for me. I just feel like I can't insert any level of personality or originality into them. They exist purely as a sort of informational source. And as much as I've tried to sort of create builds and guides that have some kind of personality to them, I feel like ultimately it's impossible, and ultimately the people that watch the guides just want the information, which is fair because that's what they're supposed to be. They're just supposed to be informational. And so the best version of that video is one that cuts out all of the rubbish and just has exactly what you need. And so me trying to add in a funny joke every so often is not really welcomed, and it just feels inappropriate in the context of what the video should be. Having said that, there are a lot of people that do enjoy making builds and guides, and that's fine. But for me personally, the main reason I haven't made an ESO video in 2 to 3 months is that I just feel like the only way for them to be viable on YouTube is for them to be builds or guides, and I don't like doing either of those things. But this also brings me to a third point, and what is going to be the bulk of what this video is kind of about, which is that most people want out of ESO at the moment in the YouTube space. And I think it's clear if you pay any attention to it at all that this is true. I'm not going to name creators because I feel like it's unfair to talk about them without their permission. But there are several big creators now that are playing other games, searching around, trying to like stream other games every so often, put out videos. And I think if you're involved in the ESO YouTube space in any way, shape or form, you will have seen this. And the reason for this is essentially what I said before. The only way to sustain any level of income on ESO content creation is to be a sort of informational content creator. And the problem with that is that your content is entirely about the game. And when the game goes through a rough patch, so does your content. Because if there's less people needing builds because there's less people playing it, there's less people looking for YouTube videos. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And it's always been in the back of every content creator's mind that they can't stay in ESO forever, because everyone knows this day will come. And the views that you get on ESO guides and build videos right now are terrible to what they were even a year, 2 years ago. It used to be normal for ESO build videos to get 100k plus views, but that just doesn't happen now. In fact, I scrolled through some of the big content creators for ESO, and there is not a single ESO video that has 100k plus views in the last, I want to say, about a year. Unless it's some kind of generalized ESO video like should you play ESO in 2022 or beginner's guide to ESO or something like that, something that's accessible to MMO fans in general and not just specific to ESO. And people are realizing that the views are just going down and down, and it makes sense because the changes that have happened within the game have been about catering to people who quest or people that don't really involve themselves in endgame or PvP, and these are people that don't need builds, they don't need guides because they stick to easy content. And although there's more of these these players, it means that the YouTube and Twitch for Elder Scrolls Online is non-existent because it's not needed. You don't need a guide to do quests. You don't need a guide for anything when you're just playing casually. So people are trying to move game, but because guides and build videos they're the kind of things people search for and they will watch, but then maybe not subscribe. But if people subscribe, it's on the basis that you're going to put out more information rather than more personality. And at the point that you try to move, it's hard to imagine someone doing anything else if all you've seen them do is sort of spew out information about a game. I'm currently editing and I realized that the way I worded that was kind of negative. I said spew out. Spew out is not the right term. It's just a term that I use a lot in general, so I forget that sometimes it might have negative connotations. Builds and guide videos are inherently so important in the gaming space. For every game has them, every game needs them. All I'm saying, which is something that everyone knows, is that if you make videos just for one game, it's difficult to then branch out to another game because people know you for just that one game. This is something that every YouTuber has to tackle at some point. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that I'm just being a lazy Brit with my language, basically. And it also means that if you're subscribing to someone who's creating build videos or guide videos, that you're invested in the game that they're making builds about, and you likely don't want to see them play another game, or less likely to want them to play another game. So now you come to a situation like this where there is a mass exodus of players, and it seems that most of the content creators in ESO, not all of them, but a lot of them are like, this is the time. This is the time I have to branch out, to diversify my content, to do different things, because this is the time that the player base is suddenly not interested in ESO. This is the time that a lot of people are suddenly looking for other games. So that's why the whole of YouTube is just trying to branch out at the moment. And it's sad because I think content creation for ESO has been so interweaved with the game itself for so many years. You know, the days of Cypher PK, Delty, or Feng Rush, I mean, Delty is still around, obviously, but Feng Rush and all these players back in the day all doing content and feeling like it was so integral to the game experience was being on the YouTube as well. I can't really explain in words what I mean, but I think anyone that was there back in the day will know what I mean. So now we get to me personally. Me. It's all about me. Me. I forgot to say I'm not full-time content creation in any way, shape or form. I would love to be. I fucking love streaming. I love it so much. I think it's the most fun thing in the entire world. Every single time I do it, it's like a performance. I just love it. I love it. If I could ever go full-time, I would do it in a heartbeat. If I woke up tomorrow and I was full-time, I would be incredibly happy. But I have to work for that. You know, I have to work for that. But on YouTube, I don't want to do ESO videos because I don't want to be tied down to ESO. Both because I don't think you can gain any level of success on ESO without catering to some level of guides, builds, or whatever, but also because I don't think the audience for ESO is transferable in any way, shape, or form to other games. And also because it just doesn't suit me as a content creator. I've been playing Mortal Online 2 right now, which I also realistically can't really stick to because it's not a game with a big audience, but because of the voice and because of how the game functions, it's perfect for me as a content creator. It encapsulates everything that I want to do in a video game, and interacting with other people and and how entertaining it can be to watch as a video game. But ESO, there just really isn't that for me. You know, all that there is gameplay. There's not much scope for shit to happen in ESO. And people like Sawman UK have done an incredible job of making things entertaining and creating stories out of a game that doesn't really lend itself to that. Same with, I can't say his name, Zozaris? You know who I'm talking about. Back in the day, his videos created stories out of nothing. But I think to do that consistently is just so difficult. But also, I'm just bored of the game. I'm kind of burnt out. I do play it from time to time, but I mostly just don't really feel like playing it. And it's hard for me to give an objective opinion on why, because I think ultimately I'm just burnt out. And you know, I've got I think I've got 4,000 hours now on the game, and it's like I can't really say I didn't enjoy it because that would be ridiculous when I have 4,000 hours. You know, you don't just get 4,000 hours for nothing. Also, I just never really get the urge to play it anymore. And in the past, I sort of quit and I was like, I'm quitting. But I still was addicted. I still wanted to play really. Whereas now it's just like, I really just don't have any urge. And that's fine. You know, it happens. It's happened to several games in the past. But as a content creator, I don't ever want to be tied down to one game. I want to be clicked on because it's me rather than because it's a particular game. And okay, I have to pick a probably set of games that are kind of similar and maybe share audiences, but I don't want to be just one game. And part of the reason I don't want to just play one game is that the game can die and then so does the YouTube channel, but I just want to be more than that. The honest truth is I just want to be more than that. I want to be more than one game. I want to be someone that you click on no matter what the content is because you find me entertaining. That's my hope. That's the goal. So that's pretty much the video. I wanted to do this in one take and now I've got a really, really long recording because I kept double taking. I've had a Patreon for ages that I've never advertised, and I think it's time I advertise it. I've been clear with my goals and intentions, and if you support that, Patreon is the very best way to do that. I have 0 patrons right now. I've never advertised it. I've never ever advertised it. I've had it since March. I said it like, I linked it once, but I've never done anything with it. So if you want to support me, please go down into the links below and I will see you in the next video, I guess. See ya. Bye. Like and subscribe, please. Please, I need you to like and subscribe, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you.